Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Huzaifah Ahmed and it's been around 1 month since I have joined Rehan School Korangi campus. Today the topic of discussion with ChatGPT is how to overcome self-doubt and build confidence. So let's get started. Hey ChatGPT, today the topic of discussion with you is going to be how to overcome self-doubt and build confidence.
That's a really powerful topic, and I'm glad you're bringing it up. I think a big part of overcoming self doubt is becoming aware of those inner narratives and then challenging them with evidence or small wins. What kind of situations or challenges do you usually feel self doubt in?
What I want you to do is first explain what exactly is self doubt. Is it the same as low confidence or are they two the different things?
That's a great place to start. So, self doubt is that inner voice that questions your abilities, your worth, or your decisions. It's often that nagging fear that you might not be good enough or that you'll mess up. Low confidence, on the other hand, is more of a sustained belief in your capacity. It's how you generally feel about yourself over time. So self doubt can be like a temporary spike, while low confidence might be a broader long term pattern.
Now tell me, where does self doubt come from? Is it learned or are some people just wired that way from the birth?
Yeah, it's a mix of both, actually. Some research suggests that certain temperaments, things like being more sensitive or cautious, can be partly inborn, but a lot of self doubt is shaped by our experiences, like childhood, feedback we get, or even societal expectations. So it's a combination, nature and nurture. And the good thing is, it can be worked on and reshaped over time.
Now, what does science say about how self doubt affects decision making and performance of one person?
Yeah, the research is really interesting here. Studies have found that self doubt can really paralyze decision making. People tend to overanalyze or avoid decisions altogether out of fear of making a mistake. And that can create a kind of downward spiral less confidence, fewer risks, and ultimately lower performance. On the flip side, when people get a handle on their self doubt, they tend to make clearer, more confident decisions, perform better under pressure, and bounce back faster from setbacks.
Now, the one thing that has been confusing me a lot is why do even highly successful and accomplished people experience intense self doubt? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's actually pretty common, sometimes called the imposter syndrome. Even really accomplished people experience this because their success can create a sense of pressure that they don't deserve it or that it's just luck. And the higher you climb, the more you feel like you have something to lose. So it's a really human experience, even at the top.
Now, what's the difference between healthy self doubt and the kind that holds you back?
Ooh, that's a great distinction. Healthy self doubt is more like a little signal that keeps you humble and pushes you to double check your work or grow. It motivates you to improve. But when self doubt becomes excessive, it's paralyzing. It keeps you from taking risks, trying new things, or even acknowledging your own achievements. So the difference is that healthy self doubt is a guide, while the unhelpful kind just shuts you down.
All right. What is the imposter syndrome and how is it connected to self doubt?
Yeah, so imposter syndrome is basically that feeling that you're a fraud, that despite your accomplishments, you don't really deserve your success. You might think, any minute now, I'm going to be exposed as a fake. And that's super connected to self doubt because it amplifies it. You might have tangible proof of success, but that internal doubt whispers that you're not enough, which can really hold you back.
Now, how does comparison to others on social media fuel self doubt and what's the antidote?
Oh, that's a big one. Social media really exaggerates comparison because everyone just posts their highlights. So you end up seeing everyone else's best moments, not their struggles. That constant comparison can make you feel like you're behind or not good enough. The antidote is really intentional. Limit your time on social media, consciously remind yourself that it's curated, and focus on your own progress, what you value, your own milestones.
Now, what's the main difference between building fake confidence and developing real lasting confidence?
Ah, that's a really important distinction. Fake confidence is kind of like a mask. You put on a bravado, but it's often fragile and dependent on external validation. Real confidence, though, is built through small, consistent wins, self awareness, and really knowing your values. It's less about what others think and more about trusting yourself even when things don't go perfectly.
Give an example so it's easier to understand what you just stated up there.
Absolutely. So imagine someone who's giving a presentation. If they have fake confidence, they might speak really loudly, pretend they know everything, but deep down they're nervous and doubt if they belong there. On the other hand, real confidence would be like someone who prepares, acknowledges their nerves, but trusts themselves because they've faced challenges before. So even if they stumble, they know they can adjust, recover, and keep going.
All right, now let's go towards the fixes. Like, what are the most effective evidence based strategies to overcome self doubt for the long term?
Yeah, great shift. So, one really powerful strategy is reframing your thoughts, basically catching those negative automatic thoughts and challenging them with more realistic or balanced ones. Another big one is setting small success based goals. So, you build proof over time that you can do what you set out to do. And self compassion is huge, treating yourself like a friend, being kind when you stumble rather than overly critical. And all of these have strong support and research on reducing self doubt long term.
Now, how do the most confident people in the world actually think differently about failure and judgment than us?
That's a great point. So, the most confident people tend to see failure as a natural, even necessary part of growth. They don't see it as a final verdict on their worth. And they don't take criticism personally. They view it as feedback they can use. So, instead of thinking, I failed, I'm a failure, they think, I didn't succeed this time, but I can learn, adjust, and try again.
All right, I like that approach very much. Now, the last thing for the discussion is what's one thing someone can do today to take a small but real step toward building confidence?
I love that. So, a really simple step you can take today is to make a small, achievable promise to yourself and follow through, like speaking up once in a meeting or finishing a small task you've been procrastinating on. And once you do it, just take a moment to acknowledge yourself. That tiny win builds trust in yourself, and over time, those small steps add up into real confidence.
Now, lastly, I want you to mention a quote or something for the person who is building confidence for the first time. And I also want you to explain why did you choose that specific quote out of the hundreds of the others.
Yeah, so a quote I really love is by Marianne Williamson. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. I chose this because it really captures that growing confidence is not just about you, it's about letting yourself be seen, taking up space, and inspiring others in the process. And that makes the whole journey so much more meaningful.
All right, everyone, this was the end of my discussion with ChatGPT for today. I hope you liked it. Until the next one, Allah Hafiz.